This is the Big Woods Bucks Podcast. Come explore the big woods and timber in North America with your host, Maine master guide and deer tracking expert Hal Blood. Listen to Hal and co-hosts Lee Libby and Joe Cruzy as they unlock the secrets of big woods whitetails. Each episode will provide valuable insights into the tried and true system Hal has used for the last 40 years to scout, locate, and hunt mature big woods bucks. Listen and laugh as the crew discusses Hal's legendary adventures and learn how to apply a lifetime's worth of lessons from the big woods to your own hunting and outdoor adventures.
Welcome to the Big Woods Bucks Podcast. I'm your host, Hal Blood, sitting here in Rangeley again with Leon Libby.
Howdy.
And Joe Cruzy.
Hello.
And our special guest again, Rick Labby.
Hello.
Rick, you want to take my spot on the podcast? You're a better co-host than I am.
We already approached him about it.
Yeah. He said he didn't want to hurt your feelings, Lee.
No hurt feelings.
What are you guys getting me into the middle of now anyway?
Oh, shit. Rick's got better stories. He's less political, too.
That's because I'm not here very much, so they build up.
Yeah. I should have introduced him as Peaches.
Peaches.
His new nickname.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah. You guys, I'm telling you, you'll convert over.
I'm going to go try it.
Yeah. I think it's a hell of a good idea.
Yeah. I seriously, though, I stock my cabin out west with canned peaches. You want to make sure they got the easy pop top on them.
Yeah.
Or you got to carry a can opener.
Yeah. Could you substitute pears or anything?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, yeah, it's excellent energy and...
Yeah, get your juice in there.
Yeah, 2 or 3 cans of them. You eat them with your jackknife. And
Plenty of sugar.
yeah.
Yeah, good.
I'll
good
try
idea.
anything when it comes to food, so I mean...
Yeah, and I mean,
We
they
noticed.
won't spoil. You know?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I wasn't laughing. I wasn't laughing at you for it. I thought it was a hell of an idea.
Oh, no, you were laughing.
Yeah, until he nicknamed me Peaches.
Well, you could nickname him Meatloaf because evidently he loves meatloaf.
Oh, I love meatloaf sandwiches. Hey, it's energy right
You
there.
got to go eat supper with my father some night because he loves meatloaf.
Does he?
Oh, yeah.
What's the topic today?
Whatever you want it to be.
Snowmobiling.
No.
All right.
You can talk for 5 minutes about your
never
trip
mind,
when you and
I'm
Rick
done.
get back from
No.
Wyoming.
Skiing.
Yeah.
No skiing.
Shed hunting? We're going to talk about shed hunting
Oh,
today?
shut up. No, it's
Yep.
because that's all you do.
Yeah.
Yep.
1,000 miles.
So how do you get by? Just
I survived somehow.
Yeah, how do you survive,
How do you
without,
survive?
without that lodge not being
Yeah.
open? Without the...
no hamburgers, no
Selling
meatloaf,
Can't even
Look,
get
I
gas.
got a
No
little
gas.
time. I got a little time this year.
no gas. I
I
don't know
make
how
use
you
of
get
my
by.
early mornings,
Yep.
and maybe I like to do a little shed hunt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's
So-
awesome.
I don't blame you.
It's
No.
nice to just see.
No, I went from watching everyone go riding by every day to I'm the guy riding by now.
Yeah.
I'm like, this isn't so bad. No, it's been a different kind of winter, that's for sure. But it was
Finally enjoy
so far,
yourself.
So far, so good. Yeah. I'm still trying to go coyote hunting. I want to go really just follow Hal and film because everyone's kind of asking for a little film footage of these coyote hunts, and we're going to get that together here soon.
I have to warn you, though, the first time we take a new guy, we put a shock collar on him.
No, I already went through that with you.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, when he makes a wrong turn or something, we give him the chance. We tone him first, but if he can't hear it because of the snowmobile, we fry him.
Well, I can't hear it when the snowmobile's off. That's why you shock me so many times.
If you miss, we really shock you.
Yeah.
Yep.
I had to do that to the dog. Hal stopped by the other day to the camp, and Sophie got out, and so I let my dogs out, and they're all just playing around, and Sophie was standing there, and I looked, and my dogs are gone. And I looked up the driveway, it's the long driveway up to the road, and they're both out on 201.
Oh.
And fortunately, I had the collars. I toned them, and they came.
Come running.
They came. Oh yeah, they'd never been up there. It was all new to them, and but if they saw a squirrel run across there, they're not stopping.
Right.
Kind of bothered me a little bit.
Yeah.
But
No forgiveness in 201, that's for sure.
No.
Did I tell you about getting bit by the hound the other day? Oh, yeah, that's a good story. I forgot to tell you. So I think it was a week ago. Was it last Friday? What's today? Tuesday? Might have been. No, I don't know if it was last Friday or the Friday before. Anyways, it was three of us out coyote hunting. It was just three of us, me and Jason and Rick that actually owns the dogs that Jason has there. But we'd found a track quite a ways out. It had walked, like, we went down and checked the bait down there that we always go to there where Eugene puts the meat scraps out there, from butchering. And there was nothing there, so we went out the trail going out from there, and Jason found a track going out from there, and it had walked. I think it came from there, came back and went back as it walked back and forth a couple times. So we went right out there 2 or 3, 4 miles, and finally it disappeared, and it was right where a bunch of moose tracks were. So he said it's got to be here. He was leading the way. He said it must have turned off in here. So we started walking around looking. We found where it went up on the ridge, and I said to him, that coyote's going to be right there. He said if he turned up to go on the ridge, it's going to be right up on that. Goes up through some hardwoods there, and it goes up on them knobs, them softwood knobs. So he put the 2 dogs in there, and they took right off on it. It wasn't that old. They took right off and jumped it right there within, I think, 200 yards from the road. They jumped it. Well, it headed up over. I thought it might swing. A lot of times they swing right back down. The snow's deep. I figured
they'll
it'd swing
come right out the back track.
Right to the trail. But it kept going over, and then it pitches over, and there's an old logging road that kind of cuts a triangle back out to the Moose River Road there at mile 5, and it was headed over that way. So I said, I'll get over on that side road. So I got over to the corner, and it wasn't broken out. Nobody'd been through there all winter. And I looked at my tracker, and they were already up almost to it, but up higher. And I said, geez, maybe he'll run it anyway. So I started the machine again, and I just got up about 100 yards. I started coming around a corner, and that coyote's running right down the trail, right towards me down that old logging road. And he sees me because that machine's quiet,
Right.
And he sees me, and he jumps off the side. And luckily, where he jumped, the woods were kind of open there. It kind of went in and up a little knob there. And I got the gun going, and I fired, and I knew I missed the first time. And I fired again and rolled him up there, and he was up there quite a ways, 50 yards or so, and I couldn't see him, but he didn't go nowhere. So I shut the machine off, and I waited, and all of a sudden I can hear like that, like he was like barking a little bit, and I still can't see him. He's like behind a log or something, and just then here comes the dogs. They're bailing right down the road there, so I just let them. I kind of pointed there, and they ran in there, and they jumped on it anyways, and I think it was the back was broke or something, but I walked up in there, and I didn't take my gun. I took my axe, because I said, I ain't going to go nowhere, and I didn't want to shoot the shotgun with the dogs right in there, I got up there, and it was kind of snappy there with the dogs and stuff, and I'm trying to get where I can knock it in the head with the axe, and
This is where the cameraman comes in.
yeah.
Yeah, don't film that. If you do,
I'm thinking this is golden footage here.
Yeah. And I walked up behind the coyote. It's like back to me. It's facing the dogs. The dogs are on the other side, and I go, this will be pretty good. I can just give him a knock right in the head, Well, I no more than I had to take one more step, and one of the dogs, Buddy, he grabbed at the coyote again, and the coyote got him by the front foot. He had him like a trap vice on his toes.
Yeah.
And that dog was squealing. Yeah, like that. So now he's trying to bite the coyote, and I can't do nothing because I can't even swing at him with the axe.
Too much going on right there.
So much going on, yeah. And
Yeah.
I'm like, and I'm looking at it, and I can see his foot's in the coyote's mouth, so I take the axe, and I tried to pry his mouth open. No way. I couldn't. And when I did, I tried it a second time, and I think the dog thought I was hurting him too because I was probably twisting the head,
Oh, yeah.
Well, he let go of that coyote's neck, and he grabbed me right by the arm, And I yanked away, and I could feel it, pressure on it, but I had my heavy coat and in my shirts and stuff.
Yeah.
And then he grabbed the coyote again, and pretty quick he let go of it, and where I could get a swing at it there, and I hit him, and I couldn't. He still had him by the head, and then Jason showed up, and he had his handgun there, and he pinned it down there, and he shot the coyote in the head. And he said, "Oh, buddy, he's just a wimp like that, anyways." He said, "If you grab his collar wrong," I thought the dog was really hurt, but you could see he kind of favored a little bit, but it wasn't really hurting him. He just it sounded more. Well, I didn't think nothing of it. I said, "Wow, I felt it like the pressure on it. It hurt pretty good. Them hounds got pretty good grip on him."
Oh yeah,
and he's a big one. That Buddy and Baxter. But anyways, I got home that night, and I was getting ready to take a shower. I took my shirts off, and I took my long john top off, and I got a great big blood spot right on my forearm there. And then I got another little one where he got a hold of with the canines.
Good, yeah.
And Deb goes, "Oh, you got to put some antibiotics and stuff on that." And I said, he didn't. His tooth didn't go in there. I said it was just that much pressure through the clothes that split my skin, because it was against the bone. I could feel it. That's what hurt.
Yeah.
It was on pushed against one of the bones there. But yeah, so anyways, I took a shower and put some salve on it and bandaged her up for a night. But yeah, that was quite an experience.
Sometimes you do get in between the dog and the coyote or cat or whatever you're doing.
Yeah.
They're both fighting for their life, so.
Yeah.
I've had some coyotes grab me by the boots over the years.
Yeah.
Yeah. Never broke through, but grabbed me right by the end of the boot. Yeah.
You said there were some cat hunters coming into town, Lee?
Oh, I thought I saw some in town yesterday. It was a big Dodge truck with a box in the back of it, and then there was a couple other trucks with snowmobiles in them.
I bet they were coyote hunting.
Yeah,
to be
coyote
that
hunting.
many, yeah.
Probably. Coyote
Yeah, to be that.
Yeah, there's been some guys out on 16 there where we were running cats, running coyotes.
Yeah.
Yeah, over by the deer yard there, they got a couple of baits.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah,
a group of them
coyotes.
that do it down there by, what's that town down below Rumford?
No.
Jay? No,
These
Jay's
guys,
not that.
these
Jay's
guys were
further
from
over to the-
Phillips.
Bethel.
These guys were from Phillips that we run into over there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, down that way somewhere. I know there's a bunch of guys that do it.
So we were going to talk a little bit today about just the difference in the Northeast and the rest of the country. Rick, we've all been kind of around
Yeah,
different places.
talked about it some, but since Rick's probably been more places than the rest of us, he can talk about it a little more. But we've already said, and Rick, you concur with it, that once you learn how to hunt deer in the big woods up here, everything else pretty easy, ain't it?
Hunting in Maine is probably the toughest place because we're one-on-one on the ground tracking. It's the thickest woods in the country.
That's the biggest thing, right?
Right. Everywhere else you go, it's way more open. It's easier to spot them. But once you learn how to stalk a deer in Maine and follow a track, I get out to these places out west where these guys have never followed a deer track in their life, and they just don't do it. And I'll say, well, we can follow him. If we got snow or something. Like I was in Arizona this year, we were archery hunting in Arizona for mule deer, and boy, we saw some big bucks every day. It's all cactus and desert, and I got a funny story you'll like too. But you'll spot those deer. We get up to these high plateaus and we glass until you find a big buck. And usually January's the rut in Arizona. So you find a big buck, and usually they're with a doe or chasing a doe or something. So that kind of helps you a little bit because they're in rut. I don't think you'd kill one otherwise because those really big ones are smart. And so you kind of glass them. Well, you got this open terrain. All you've got is cactus. So, and you got a lot of little draws, little ditches. So you got to learn to use those draws and ditches in the wind. That's the other factor to get within shooting range with a bow of those bucks, which is probably the most challenging hunt besides Maine. And I've been 2 years in a row I haven't killed a deer but it's so challenging. I'm going to go again next year. I mean, I'm seeing 180-inch bucks almost every day.
Wow.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. And I got the guy I'm hunting with out there is a really good guide too. Dwayne Adams, he's excellent. And I'm hunting with this Mike Huey's been my guide for 2 years. He's just phenomenal on finding big bucks. He's just really good. But anyway, we spotted this one big, we call him a 3x3. He'd be a 4x4 here. And he was probably like, we figured 36, 38 inches wide. I mean,
Wow.
this buck was giant. And he had no forks like a mule deer should have. He just looked like a huge 8-point with, I don't know, probably 15, 16-inch tines on him. And he was impressive looking. I said, I want to kill him. I'll try to kill him this week. So I was on him 2 or 3 days in a row. Well, we watched him go into this canyon about a mile, which is nothing out there, a mile. You're spotting sometimes 2 or 3 miles with those 15, 20-power binoculars. So I put a 2-hour stalk on this deer, and I'm getting up into this canyon, and Mike's back sitting about a mile from me and I got an earpiece in. So he's kind of directing me because everything looks the same out there. You get over one hill, or if the deer gets up and moves, he can tell you, hey, Rick, he just moved over this next hill. So, And
So that's common practice there, doing it like that?
Yeah.
That's
You
pretty
put an earpiece in, you got
team effort.
Yeah, exactly. It's a two-man deal. And, because those bucks, they'll lay down a little, or if a doe lays down, but the bucks, a lot of times, just like here, they'll nose them and push them and get them moving. The only reason they'll lay down is so they don't get bred. And so I'm getting up into this canyon, and he says, that buck's, he's like 60 yards in front of you. He goes, I can see the doe, he's right there. So, and I'm just belly crawling. It took me an hour and a half to go probably 100 feet. And I'm trying to get within bow range, so when this buck stands up, I got a shot at him. And I hear this helicopter coming. Of course, we're near the Mexican border, okay? And you got Border Patrol, and we're 70 miles from the Mexican border. I hear this helicopter, which you'd hear them during the day now and then, but you never really see them. Well, one of those the black stealth helicopter, which is Border Patrol, comes over the canyon right where the buck is, and this guy's hanging out the door with an AK-47, and
You mean AK or AR?
AR.
Okay.
Yeah. He's hanging out the door, and he waves to me. Because I got an orange hat on, so my guide can tell where I am. You wear a camo, but you wear an orange hat so they can spot you, because you lose track in that cactus like you wouldn't believe. I mean, fast. And this guy waves to me. He comes by, and he's like 200 feet, and the chopper comes over, and Mike says, he goes, he just blew that buck out of the canyon. When he come over, scared those deer, and they blew out. Yeah. And I said, what the heck are they doing? He goes, just common patrol practice. Yeah. Yeah. They're out there riding around.
Jeez. Yeah. I've seen them spooked by planes, but never
Yeah.
a
Border
helicopter. Yeah.
Yeah. But
So that kind of goes to the point, you're talking about having an earpiece and
right.
different tactics for different places.
Everywhere
There's
you
so
go
many
with-
ways to hunt whitetail.
Yeah, yeah. And like Nebraska, first time I hunted there was this year. Nebraska's, it's kind of like Wyoming, where it's rocky and hilly, but it's more open than the forested where we hunt elk and stuff. It's pretty open. So those deer, I see that they'll either be right in the forest in the woods, or they'll lay up high, kind of like our bucks do here, where they can see, just like a mule deer would. But these are whitetails we were hunting in Nebraska. So within a day or two, you kind of learn what these deer are doing, and so you pick it up quick, and then you start to change your tactics on how you hunt them, and usually that's how you end up being successful. But so you glass, you might go to a high spot and glass, but then again, you got to be careful how you approach a spot, because you'll blow every deer out of that canyon or whatever you're going in to hunt, because they'll watch you from a mile away. And trust me, those deer know. You'll be on public land, let's say where there's hiking trails, and there'll be guys in there just hiking for the fun of it during the day. Right? They're non-hunters.
I always question those people.
Yeah, right. But those bucks, you'll watch them lay there, and they'll let a hiker go by. Where a hunter, who's actually you can tell a hunter when he's stalking, and those deer will just blow right out. You watch them from a half a mile away, and they know the difference.
Yeah.
In a hurry.
Yeah, moving like a predator.
Yeah.
So some LO bean gear and a beanie and just walk.
Right.
Yeah. Hide the gun under the jacket.
Yeah. 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 Just walk like you're out for a nature walk.
You know, we've been. I've been to Saskatchewan with you, which I know you spent a lot of years in Saskatchewan, and I always thought before, like when I first met you, I thought you were tracking out there. I didn't realize.
Yeah, it's pretty
not
much
really a tracking game out there.
No, it's really not. I've hunted some on bare ground, but a lot of guys won't let you. They want you to stay in the stand, and it's Saskatchewan's a tough mind game. Really, setting you're from daylight till dark, and they drop you off in the dark and pick you up in the dark. And normally it's when you went, what was it? It might get up to 20 degrees during the day, and it's usually below zero in the morning.
Yeah,
it gets colder as the day
it was
goes
5-10 below the week that I was there.
Yeah. So you're sitting in years ago, when Dad and I went for years, we never had ground blinds or enclosed stands. We were always in tree stands.
Cool.
And you'd bring sleeping bags and crawl inside a sleeping bag and just, wait for a big buck to show up.
Yeah. Hal hunts a lot like that.
I don't need a buck that bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fun though. I
enjoy
a lot
it
of people lot of people don't think that that's hunting, but being a tracker that I've tracked my entire life, love to track. I can't sit in a stand in Maine. I actually enjoy going to Saskatchewan and sitting in the stand, and where you can some days if you're on the right stand and there's a hot doe there, you'll see 10, 12 bucks in a day.
Yeah.
And
you never know what's going to show up.
You never know.
World record buck could show up there.
Yeah. I passed a buck one year that on the very first day, very first morning, that I know would have been 190 to a 200-inch typical. And riding in, the guide he was driving on the four-wheeler, dropped me off, and he told me, he goes, I saw a double drop tine here at the stand, he said, a week ago. He said, so he's probably around. So I had it in my head. I'd never killed a drop tine buck. This is probably 12, 15 years ago now. And I'd never killed a drop tine buck, so I said, well, I'm going to hold out for that deer no matter what all week. Well, this 6x6 walks in at 9 o'clock with a hot doe, chased her around for 20 minutes. I had the safety off the whole time. I never shot him. Oh. I mean, his beams were as big around as my arm. And just heavy, heavy tines on him. He had it all, big, long beams. He leaves, and I'm going, what the hell? I should have shot that deer. And I'm kicking my ass. So I said, he comes back, I'm going to shoot him. Shows back up an hour later.
You didn't shoot him.
Didn't shoot him. I let him go again. Yeah, I said, I'm going to wait for that drop time. I says, I'll shoot him on Wednesday or Thursday. Right, I had it in my head. I'll shoot him Wednesday or Thursday. He'll be back.
That'll be easy.
Yeah. Sat there the entire week. Never saw either one of the deer again. Never even saw a nice buck. Huh. So Friday comes along, and Dad had been sitting, I don't know, on some other stand where there was a lot of big rubs and some big scrapes over there. And Dad says, yeah, I want to move. He says, there ain't nothing over to that stand. There was like a 140-inch 8-point, which he'd have been a beauty in Maine, but not for Saskatchewan. So I said, yeah, I'll swap stands with you. So we swapped stands. He wanted basically some new scenery, and we both knew there was big deer at either one of our stands. So I swapped stands with him, and I shot a 173-inch buck that morning. walks right in
every time.
Yeah, but he's done it to me too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably Ontario is the closest to Maine, or it used to be. Well, it probably is now because there's no deer there anymore.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
But as far as style of
hunting, but Ontario I found was maybe because there was more deer density per square mile too, but I found it easier than Maine. I mean, you'd see more deer in a day than you ever would in Maine.
And they didn't travel as far.
No.
Them bucks, they didn't need to, but they didn't travel very far.
You're right. Yeah, if you were serious about it and you get on a buck track, I mean, you were definitely gonna see him before the day was over in Ontario.
Yeah, they weren't used to being tracked either. I mean, nobody tracked out there, really. You know.
Right.
Yeah.
What you hunted in the UP, didn't you,
Yeah.
with Steve?
Yeah, I hunted the
How's
UP
that compared to here?
It's actually fairly similar, you know. I mean, it's it's flatter ground, and but it's logging. You know what I mean? It's the same type of wood. You know, it's a lot of spruce and fir. They do have oak there, which we don't have. But we were hunting this. There's one they call it a mountain. It's 800 feet high. You know, but that was a big mountain around. But
Right.
and but there was oak on that. But I thought it was probably fairly similar, even population-wise. It was similar. You know what I mean? There was enough deer, but there weren't it wasn't overrun with deer. Like when you go to Montana and stuff, there's tons of deer. You know what I mean? You just drive down any road and there's just deer tracks after deer tracks. But the UP wasn't like that. Very, very similar to out here. And it's actually the only other place I found that you could actually find tracks that were similar. You know what I mean? It's probably true for maybe Wisconsin and Minnesota and stuff too, but I know it was weird that the tracks in Ontario were smaller. You know what I mean? They just on you could find a big track once in a while, but
They were genetically smaller footed deer.
yeah. Just a different subspecies.
Saskatchewan's that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the same kind of deer across that north.
Yeah.
But I think probably just because of the forest, probably that UP was probably the same subspecies we have, you know, northern borealis or stuff. Because, I mean, they've shot some big deer and big heavy ones even in the old days in the UP and Wisconsin, Minnesota and all that. But yeah, very similar, you know. It's them deer would travel. I mean, we took some pretty good missions on some of them deer too, but usually when we only went a couple times and it was always late, and the deer were starting to move towards the deer yards. So usually you'd get on one of them bucks and it'd be striking cross country for one of them yards, you know. And so what I remember, there was a big river down in there. And when they got to the river, you were done because you couldn't get across it. It was a big river, you know, with too much water in it. So I never shot one there. I shot at one out there. I actually only hunted a couple days. Back when we was going there, I was kind of teaching Steve how to shoot, try to track and stuff. But he wanted to go on his own one day, and I said, yeah, that's great. He says, you can see if you can try to get one. It was muzzleloader season. I went up on this. Well, there was kind of some scrub oak ledges there above the lake. You know, it was near actually right near I think it was Lake Superior, must be the big lake there. But I just kind of poked down in and poked around, and geez, I come to this big track. It was the biggest track I saw out there. I said, holy smokes. And it was right there in the night. And he was out on them scrub oak ledges. I said, he must be poking for an acorn or something here, but he ain't going to stay here, you know. And I'm looking down over, and it's all like cedar and spruce down in the bottom and then off to one side. So I'm just kind of dubbing along on the track there, not really even thinking that it'd be there. Well, you know, I come over a little knob on one of them ledges, and he was laying kind of in a dumb place. It was in like a crack in the ledges, and it was all brush. It was like a brushy draw. And he jumped right up in that and took off straight away, and it was thick brush, but I said, I got to shoot. You know, he was going away.
Right.
I fired, boom. And as soon as I did, he took two more jumps, and he bounced right out on the open ledges broadside. And I trying to get loaded up again, but he was a big one. He had a big rack, too. He was a really nice buck. And I can't remember where I ended up on him that day. I didn't get him. I followed him the rest of the day there, and I can't remember what the chain of events was or how far he went, but I know I didn't get him that day. So that's my experience.
Ain't always
there.
about getting them, though.
No, it was fun. It was fun seeing
Right.
him. Yeah, it was a big one. Fun seeing him.
All them experiences,
Yeah.
they're all fun.
Hey, Hal here. Just want to take a minute to talk about the hunting club. And you can join by going right online at bigwoodsbucks.com. But anyways, I've got all my information is going in there. And it's a place where you can get together and and look at my films, tips, writings, and all of that. And the best part is there's forums for you to communicate with, the rest of the club members, talk about big wood stuff and all of that. So anyways, $36 a year, cheaper than getting a Starbucks once a day. So join up and hope you see you on there. Hal here, and I just want to take a minute to talk a little bit about Onyx. Been using it now for about a year, deer hunting, moose hunting, turkey hunting, all of that, and really come to really like it. I like the satellite imagery mainly because I can locate hidden fields, for turkey hunting, the bogs for moose hunting. You can tell the different stage of cuts up here in the big woods for deer, whether it's clear cuts, select cuts, see the skid roads, and it's really a big help I found coming out at night. It's can really tell you like the easiest way to get out, if you got a couple miles, a couple hours to walk out. And so anyways, got the app on my phone, got the chip in my GPS, and I'm good to go. So not only that, it's used by 4,600 game wardens across the country, which is pretty incredible, and Bureau of Land Management, Forest Service, wildlife biologists, and all that. They all use it, so I guess it's something you ought to be using too. So anyways, go to onx.com and you punch in the promo code BWB, and you're going to get a 20% discount. Good hunting. I did hunt Minnesota 3 days. Me and Chris went out there. We said, let's go try it. We
Don't
had
you know?
Yeah, we had no idea what to expect, but there was no snows. We had 2 or 3 years in a row back here. You probably remember them days. I don't know if it was before you moved up, Joe, or not, but it was probably 10 years ago. We had a few years in a row. We hardly got any snow out here, and we was waiting and waiting and waiting always for snow, and we kept looking everywhere, and there was going to be some snow in Minnesota, so I said, let's go do that, We drove all the way out there in the Ram Charger to Minnesota, and when we got there...
That's a long way in the Ram Charger. Why in the world did you bring the Ram Charger?
Oh, I had just got it fixed up.
Christ.
I just got it all fixed up. My
all the things to do. You're gonna drive that thing out there?
I was breaking in the Gray Ghost.
Oh, my God, that's brutal.
So we get out there, and there's no snow.
Should have taken a Suburban.
Yeah. Yeah, we're out in... you got to go around the lake, of course, so I don't know if it's... Maybe it was Duluth or something, but...
So you and Steve drove out there in the Ram Charger?
No, me and Chris.
Oh, okay.
And then little did I know, like during the time we were driving, they got a shot of snow in Montana, and Steve ended up flying there. So I went and met up with him afterwards. That's why it only ended up being 3 days. But we got to Duluth, and we're like, where the heck's the snow, It's got to be north. I said, let's drive north. So we're driving north, and Chris is looking up on his phone there to find I said, find a sporting goods store or a sports shop or something up north there somewhere and see if there's snow. So he finally got a hold of the sports shop up north there somewhere, and he had on a speakerphone. He says, you got any snow up that way? He goes, yeah, we got 3 or 4 inches of snow. And we go, is it good tracking snow? And he goes, tracking snow? He goes, no. He said it's all hanging in the trees, going to fall down your neck and everything. I don't know why you don't want to be tracking in it. And I said, thank you very much.
Yeah.
I said, let's go. That's where we headed.
Yeah.
Couldn't believe you'd go tracking in it.
If you're not a tracker, you don't know tracking snow.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. So we beat feet up there anyways. And that was actually pretty nice. There was a pretty good deer population there. We just drove same way kind of hunting here. It's flat, totally flat up there. It's like up on that they call Boundary Waters, and it's totally flat, and it's all black growth pretty much. But there was plenty of deer, and nobody hunted in the woods. If they walked in the woods, they were on a logging trail or something. Nobody walked in the woods. They all hunted from the road, or they'd go out in the cuts from the road. Nobody tracked, nobody hunted. So it was great for us. You didn't have to get up early and go look for a track. You just find one and then go on it. But
were those deer skittish at all when you got on them?
They were skittish because of the wolves.
All right.
Yeah, you'd be tracking along, you'd get into a bunch of wolf tracks that was chasing them, so them wolves had them deer skittish. They was looking back, don't worry.
Yeah, all the time, yeah.
We got close to a couple. I almost shot one, and I couldn't. The track I wasn't sure about the size tracks there either. And it was one of them ones back here would be like around 200.
Marginal, yeah.
Yeah, and I see it go, but I couldn't really see much for horns, and I'm like, I'll let that thing, I better not shoot. And so we didn't shoot one there either in them 3 days. And then I headed out to Montana there with Steve. And I got there just in time. He just shot a beautiful 10-pointer.
Nice.
Got to help him lug it out anyways the next morning.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
New York, of course, is similar, but similar, not the same.
The Adirondacks are kind of funny. It's we talk about that a lot. I started hunting there quite a few years ago, and we hunted up. I've hunted different places. The Adirondacks isn't all the same either, because you got the northern, the southern, the western, the high peaks. There's different areas there. And the hardest hunting is actually in those high peaks, because there's some good bucks that are up there, but there's like 4,000, 4,500 foot mountains, and they'll be up there.
You're right.
But it takes you half a day to get there. You just can't. They're so steep. It's steep. Even though there's hiking trails to get there, yeah, you're a half a day hunt to get up.
Sounds like elk hunting.
Yeah.
You spend most of your day to get up, and you got about a 2-hour window to hunt, and you got to head down.
Yeah. What we found that like early, if you got some early snow, the big ones were all up there. You couldn't find, if there was big mountains around, you weren't going to find any big tracks down low. They was up high. And then when the snow up there started driving them down, then they'd be down there. But that was a little crazy. And then over to the west, that they call the Moose River Plain, there's some mountains around, but there's nothing. They're not big mountains. And some of it's kind of rugged, It's that terrain there is probably pretty similar to up home, except that the woods are way more open.
Right, yeah, because they don't cut as much there.
Yeah, you can see good, but it's a double-edged sword because they can see you too. Out through the hardwoods, they can see you're 150 yards. You can't get near them, You got to hope they get in a place into some thick stuff, or they get up on them, knobs up on the top, and you can sneak around, try to get a look at one there. But
that's what I found in Massachusetts. I've only tracked outside of Maine one time, and that was down in Mass, and I liked it. Like, it was different, but it was the same thing. They could see forever in those woods, and it was steep.
Yeah.
I was talking to Roger the other day. He loved it. He's heading back down next year. He had a nice close call, and Ben got one. So
yeah. We found a new spot there. We tried, and I liked it pretty well. It was a pretty good sized piece of woods. I mean, not like home, but big enough. Big enough where you can. If you get on one, it's probably going to stay around in there somewhere. It's not going to go down out of there too much. But those deer don't travel as far either, really.
No,
I found that
right there.
I found that pretty much anywhere but Maine, I carry a pair of 8-power Savorskis that I've had for 25 years. And anywhere out of Maine where you've got any visibility at all, you need those binoculars to even get close to anything or even spot a deer. And I will gauge a deer's eyes to be about equal with an 8-power pair of binoculars, because lots of times I'll be glassing something in the woods as far as your eye can see, and there's nothing. You say, there's nothing here. And I'll pick those binoculars up and just start scanning, and you'll see an eye looking out around a tree, maybe with a piece of his horn, and he's already spotted you.
Yeah.
And he's at 400 or 500 yards. And you're thinking, how the heck did that deer see me that far, and you're moving slow or whatever. But, I mean, that's about equivalent with a deer's eyes.
Yep.
The way I've always figured it out west is you need a minimum of it. And an 8-power is a good pair, because you start getting stronger than that, and you lose your field of vision.
Yeah, I use 10-power. I use 10x42s.
Yeah.
Just what I bought, and I always use.
I think 8s and 10s are right. You're in the ballpark.
I think binoculars are.
They're a must.
One of those things that I never go with. Well, I say I never go without. I forgot them once, but and the way they are, the difference. I have the ones I have now are 10 by 42 Kales, and when I bought them, I don't know, 12 or 15 years ago, they were top of the line, great glass and everything.
Right.
When we were in Alaska and I picked up my buddy's Vortex, same power, what a difference. Those Vortex are an unbelievable bargain, I think.
I just bought a pair this year that I took to Arizona.
Yep.
And I couldn't believe how crystal clear they are.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I think his were like the Vipers or something. They're around $650,
Yep.
something like that.
Yep.
And I mean, just awesome glass. And I was going to ask you, with all your big hunts out there, do you ever use spotting scopes or just always binoculars?
Pretty much binoculars.
Yep.
Yep. Yep.
I found just with that, when you're distance hunting like that, the binoculars are so much more comfortable to stop and look, and you can see anything that's
and your
there.
field of vision is clearer because you got both eyes. So
Yeah.
I usually bring a fold-up tripod that I can set because you get so tired from glassing and looking, and but just so you can set those binoculars on top and just constantly just comb an area, then move. Kind of like a grid.
Yep.
Right. And without those binoculars, you wouldn't find 1/10 of the game that you can.
No.
No.
I've been using, since I started using binoculars in Maine, I don't know, it's been 20 years now. I feel, if I forget them, when I have forgotten them plenty of days, if I forget them, I feel like I'm
Naked.
like a little helpless that day,
Same here. I've turned around before and drove 20 miles back to the house because I forgot them when I'm tracking, because because my eyes are really good. I had my right one done a few years back, and it's actually better than 20/20. But when you're tracking a buck, and sometimes you'll get up to a spot, or you'll across the cart, or just something further than your eye can actually focus on. And I've shot a lot of bucks over the years where I spotted them or spotted the doe.
Yeah.
And then you saw the doe, and then you pull the binoculars up and you start looking, and say, oh yeah, there he is right there.
Yeah, you might just see something brown,
right?
Something brown that doesn't look right. And again, it's because we ain't using a scope. You know what I mean?
Right. No, exactly.
You got a
But even with a scope, though, there's nothing like a good set of binoculars.
Nothing.
You see so much more.
Yeah.
With the binoculars, and even if I'm using a scope, those things are right there.
But the
all
way
time.
the way I look at it is, if that pair of binoculars, having them with you, and you get that one, I mean, you just spent 7, 8, 10 days, let's say, of your time, 10 hours a day tracking a buck, and that one opportunity you would have gotten if you didn't have them binoculars, you wouldn't have seen him. So all that work was wasted.
Yep.
So you got it. It's part of my hunting attire now.
Yeah.
You got to have it.
Yeah, and it's nice now with all the different options for the cases and stuff for them, the chest cases. That's what I use. I know Hal, you're under the jacket, right, Hal?
Yeah, I just use that. I don't know, they call it a bra or whatever thing there. Harness. It's like a harness.
That's what I use.
And they're inside my jacket.
Yep.
I got that little, I don't even think they're made anymore, but it's called an optic belt. It's a little neoprene thing that tucks over the flap, so even if spruce needles or snow, anything gets in there.
Sometimes a little snow will get down there.
Yeah, or even fog if you're sweating and it none of it never fogs up, And I got days I've never take them out all day.
Oh yeah,
I never
same
take
here.
them out, but they're always.
But
there
when
if
you need them,
yep.
you got them. Yeah.
Yep.
You carry binoculars, Lee? No.
Lee's got a scope.
No scope.
You don't use no scope anymore?
On the 7400 I do, but no.
Yeah.
No, I just never really have, but just one more thing to get.
I use a scope out west, most of the time.
Yep.
Yeah.
Wonder how many bucks you've walked right by.
Probably I ought to start carrying a few, huh? Yeah.
Well, I tell you, I got good eyes too. When there's times that you look at something, you look at it,
Yeah.
If you just had the binoculars to tell you, because sometimes you
Just
look
like
at
that,
something
you'll
and
know. Yeah.
it either is or it ain't, but it matters what you do, right?
Right. Yeah. No,
I
I
think-
should. I'm sitting here listening. It sounds like a good idea, but my eyesight long distance is really good. It's from my fingertips into my nose.
Yeah,
that's
well,
a little blurry.
Yeah, join the club.
Yeah. It also works good. I mean, just for when you get to those rare open areas
Right.
here in Maine, and you can just stop right on the edge of it and really,
Yeah.
Especially if he doesn't know that you're back there,
Yeah.
you got a better chance of seeing him.
I made the mistake one day before I carried binoculars. I used to carry a scope on bare ground and peep sights when it snowed. And, and that's a bad habit to get into because you start alternating guns and
Right.
you're not as sharp. You're just not. So I had brought my scope gun and I was up around Jackman there, at my camp. And I tracked this buck all week. Well, it snowed. And I'd had my scoped rifle. And it had melted. It had completely melted off. Then it snowed that night. And I don't know what I was thinking. I think I had my scoped rifle in my truck and left my other gun in the camp or something. And I said, I'll be all right, And so I got up on this buck's track, and I'd been after him all week, and I picked him up in about the same spot he'd been crossing. And I followed him all the way up into the mountain, almost where that other one was, but it was probably 20 years ago. And I called this buck Slewfoot. He had one track that set like an inch ahead of the other one, like he'd broken his foot maybe in the rocks years ago, and it healed back that way. So you could tell his track for sure. And it was a big track, big, heavy, wide track. Well, I come to this cut, didn't carry binoculars in, and I cranked it up to 9 power. And I scanned that cut because I was so close to him, I could tell I was going to catch him any time. And I scanned that upper side of that cut, and I figured he'd be waiting, looking back at me. I never saw him, so I just put my gun down and kept going. Well, I forgot to turn my scope back, and I got all the way up, and I ain't mentioning any names, like Quill Hill or anything,
Yeah,
But I got up
again.
Yeah, I got up into those little mountaintops, and there's some ledges up there. Well, that buck he had walked right by 2 big bull moose that were laying down, and he had to walk by and just they never got up because his track was so fresh that I just knew I was going to run into him any minute. I mean, you could just tell how fresh that track was. It was warming up, and you could see the texture of it. And I looked to my left. I run into those bull moose, and I looked to my left, and he was laying on a shelf looking down at those bulls, and just like he would use them for backup, maybe.
I know they do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Seen it.
And he jumped up, and he was running right straight uphill and kind of just zig, and it was all big spruce back then. So he was just kind of zigzagging, and he'd come out in an opening and then an opening, and every time I'd get him in the scope, I was on 9 power. All I'd see is a big bunch of hair, He was at 30 yards to start, and I never got a shot at him. And by the time he was gone, I realized I was on 9 power.
I'm going to take a wild stab there. That you're telling this story was probably within 400 or 500 yards of that one that was looking at you were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
The same area, right?
To the left.
Yep.
Yep.
Imagine that.
Yeah. Yeah, and in that buck we called Slewfoot, Lane Benoit ended up killing that buck that year.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, Lane killed him. Yeah, he was a 9-pointer, had really white bleached out horns, pretty heavy horn deer, and I think he was like 220 right around there, but he was a nice buck, but he killed him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Hey, everyone. Hal here. Just want to take a minute to talk about the Woodman Arms muzzleloader. We got them all set on the website to build your own or buy your Big Woods Bucks model, either one you want to do. But anyways, we've tested it a lot, and I can honestly say it's the most accurate muzzleloader on the market, best to carry in the Big Woods or anywhere else at 5.5 pounds. You can't go wrong with it. So get on there and check it out.
Hey guys, Joe here. Wanted to take a few minutes to talk about Lake Parlin Lodge. We're a 4-season lodge located just south of Jackman. We've got cabins, lodge rooms, mini lodge. We're a big snowmobile destination in the winter, full restaurant, bar, all the amenities that you need for your trip. Open obviously through the summer, right on the lake. Kayaks, canoes, all included with the cabin. We also do a lot of weddings, so if you're looking for a destination wedding, we can do a wedding up to 200 people. And, of course, we've got our hunting season, moose season, deer season. So check us out. We're at lakeparlinlodge.com. What were the last years they were hunting up there in that area? The last place was they left their stuff at John's Trailer Park, right?
That was the end of it there, yeah. That matter of fact, there's 2 of their buses are still there. Like they're over in the back because John, they went back to get them. They'd left them there for 2 years, and they went back to get them, and John was going to charge them. I don't know how much it was storage on them.
You left them.
And they said they ain't worth that. They turned around and left.
Huh.
So, yeah,
Probably put them up for auction.
I was going to say, rope them off and start having tours in them.
Right.
Yeah. But that would have been, that's been a long time. 10.
Oh, I think it was early 2000s.
Yeah.
Like 20
That's
years
what
ago.
I was thinking it
Yeah.
was.
Yeah, because they stayed in with
Kenny,
Matt
Vine,
and Ken. Yeah, they
in
were
the
in there.
90s.
And then they
Yeah.
came out.
That's when I met them all in the 90s.
And then, but the last place they put their buses was out there in John's, and I think they were there 2 or 3 years. And then,
Yeah.
and then that's when I think when they started going to Ontario, and then they left.
Yeah, that
Maine.
was about that time.
Yeah,
That's right.
They left Maine. They went to Ontario. They never really come back too
Yeah.
much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh. You remember that bus I told you I found in Norwich Walk in the middle of Lost Brook?
Yep.
It's like a mile from any road, and they had driven this bus in. I don't know who it was back then, but same thing as the Benoits did. And they had gutted this bus all out, put bunks in it, and they had a wood stove in the back. And they had drove it in the middle of this bog. And I think I took a picture of it, and I think it said 72 on the license plate, the last tag. Remember they had the old metal tags? Yeah. And I sent you a picture of it years ago there.
Yep.
But this thing was buried in this bog right to the yellow on the bus, right level. Like they had gotten it stuck right there and said, "This it. This is where it's going to stay."
End of the road.
Yeah. And they had left the door open, and there was the biggest porcupine I'd ever seen in my life living inside of it. He looked like a small bear cub. The crap was this deep. Yeah.
You crawled right in there and stayed for the night?
No,
Yeah.
no. I backed out. He says, "You got that place? That's the Taj Mahal. You can stay."
Yeah, I remember when they had those buses stored up there at John's, and I kind of glanced over in there, and it was quite a mess inside.
Oh,
And I mentioned something to Matt, and he said, "Oh yeah, they just leave everything in there and then come back the next season and open it up and continue right on,
Yeah. Yeah.
dishes and all."
Roughing it.
Right.
Yeah, that's how you kill the big ones, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. Keep after them daylight till dark. Don't worry about the tidy work.
Yeah, well,
Yeah. We used to camp a lot too, but I kind of like my hot shower now. Part of getting old, I guess. I don't mind the camping out during moose season and stuff, but had so many of them years being in a tent and it below zero, and
Yeah. I found that. That's why I sold you that big tent. I found that in Wyoming. It's worth it to walk that extra 3 miles out at night and get back to the truck and drive down to camp and take a hot shower.
yeah.
And have a good hot breakfast in the morning and just leave 2 hours before daylight and hike up in there than it is to sleep in the tent at night and you're froze and
Put on wet gear in the
everything.
morning.
Yeah, your gear's wet, nothing dries out.
Yeah.
yeah, we covered that early after moose season, but that's where I'm changing this year. Is no more propane heat for
No.
me. I'm going wood stove.
Yeah, you got to go wood.
After going over into Hal's tent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
During moose camp.
Joe'd come over and we were all set up there. It was me and my hunter and Ben there was helping me out there. And we had my 16 by 20 with 3 of us in it, and all set up for cooking
Nice
at
and
the
warm.
barrel wood stove.
Yeah.
They're over there freezing. It was
Well,
nasty that week.
September,
Water dripping off the top with propane. Huh?
yeah, September you can get away with it, with the
Yeah,
propane. But
yeah.
but zone 1 in October,
Minute
It's
that
just-
temperature gets below 32.
yeah, it
Condensation,
rains on you
yeah.
inside.
But even in
And-
September, if you got a rainy week
Yeah.
and it's cold,
Yeah,
propane ain't a very good thing to have.
Right.
Yeah.
'Cause
and
that wood heat will dry you right out, dry everything out.
Yeah.
It's pretty
Oh,
nice.
Eric,
There's
I
nothing
stayed
like
in Eric's tent.
Getting
He had
up with dry clothes. Yeah.
he had the Instinct tent there with a wood stove in it, and I stayed in there, and I said, "That's it, wood stoves for every tent next year."
Yeah, we should get together and build some of them barrel stoves. You gonna use
Yeah.
them barrel stoves?
Yep.
Yeah, I'm going to build. I got to build a new one. The one I got's pretty well wore out.
How big around are those barrel stoves? You use a 55-gallon drum? Oh,
Yeah.
you do? Okay.
Yeah.
Eric had one of those small ones. I mean, I think it was a couple $100 in Cabela's. It wasn't bad, and it was a nice stove. I mean,
I think you can put them kits on a 30-gallon metal drum too.
Yeah, that's a more manageable size.
Yeah.
You know.
It is for
Yeah.
doing that.
Right.
But you can buy them kits for $50. Get a drum and
Right.
just
Easy,
cut it
quick
out.
and easy. Yeah.
You can make one in an hour, put it together.
Right, and when the drum rots out, you just take
Yeah.
your kit off and bolt it on another drum.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, we should make a few. How many do you need?
I'll do 2
Yeah.
since I got
We'll
another
probably
brand new tent.
Hey, that's made for 2 stoves.
I don't need 2 in it.
That's got a flap in both ends, a stove flap in both ends.
Is it
It's
out the wall one?
No, there's
In the top.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a 24
It's 24 by 16.
feet long by 16, yeah.
Yeah.
So besides Maine, what's your most preferred place to go? Because you've done Iowa, Missouri. You've pretty much done the whole Midwest, haven't you?
Pretty much. Yeah, I'd like to do Kansas this year, hunt that. Yeah. I think I really like Iowa. The amount of deer per square mile and the big boys are there. I mean, there's some giants in Iowa, you know.
So it's just basically all about the antlers there. You go there for big racks.
Yeah.
Yeah, but what about for hunting the woods and stuff?
Yeah, I really think, you know, probably like that Nebraska hunt I did this year was a really good hunt. It's challenging.
Yeah.
Just because those deer are, you know, they lay up high and you kind of got to be stealthy. You got to really know how to stalk and you got to think ahead all the time.
Yeah. I think you'd like to Montana where we've hunted.
Yeah, I've
there.
never hunted Montana.
You'd like that because
Yeah.
it's the mountains, but it's like the woods here. I mean, there's clear cuts.
Right.
There's
I'm supposed to go this year with John Fendelson.
oh yeah,
Yeah, I might go with him.
Wyoming. Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the dates for when is that hunt in Montana?
Yeah, no, we're going to do Montana because Wyoming's a draw. In Montana, you can actually buy over the counter, I think. For
Montana
the
is.
whitetail.
It might be open all of November,
I think you're right.
but usually the snow it's almost the snow is almost like clockwork there. At least where we hunt in that valley, about the 15th of November, you're going to get a snowstorm.
Right.
And it might not all hit down in the bottom because you're in them big valleys. Like that valley has got to be, it might be 8 miles wide before it really goes up much. You know, it might go up a little bit, but then where it goes up, backs up to the mountains on both sides. You know, you got the main road down through the middle, and but you might not have any snow right in the bottom. But as you start up, you get a little bit more. And what it usually ends up being is when you get way up, there's too much snow, and that's what drives the bigger bucks. Because it's the same way there. The biggest ones stay high. You can run all around. There's logging roads all through the valley, and you can run around them roads all the time, and you ain't going to find much for the real big tracks till the rut starts. That changes things. They'll come down then, and they come down and go back kind of like they would here. But those biggest ones, I was telling you before that when that first year Joe Donito went, we was just stopping and looking at tracks, and they're very similar to the tracks in the Adirondacks, the size. You know, they're almost the same. You know, so he's looking at the tracks. He goes, "This one looks pretty decent here," and I go, "No, I'm not going to take that track." And until we got way back, it was the last bit of road before you get to these, like the horse trail start and then the hiking trail, whatever, where you can't drive anymore. And then we seen a track, and I looked at that one. I go, "Now that one you probably want to take." So, and he killed that buck. It's a beautiful 12-pointer. It's a nice buck, but he had come down and was going. He's back in,
Right.
Because most of them hunters there do the same thing. They drive around the roads and first crotch horn, a little 6-pointer.
Right.
They see, they shoot it. It's just meat for them. They don't think about much else,
So the chances of us going out there are slim since it's November.
Yeah.
And
unless there was no snow, you know what I mean? If there happened to be no snow, we said, "Hey, let's run out there or something," It's nothing you can plan ahead,
Yeah.
Yeah, that Nebraska hunt I did, that late hunt was a muzzleloader, and you got the whole month of December, and you can shoot. I could have shot a whitetail or a mule deer.
You going back?
Late December.
Yeah, all December, the whole month. Yeah, there's a lot of draws, a lot of open country, and then down by the rivers, it would be a lot of woods, a lot of heavy, and those whitetails would all go bed along the river, and they'd funnel up in the evening. They'd funnel up to these pivots. They had, alfalfa pivots and whatever. Some were corn, and so you'd try to, sneak and spot them, and then cut them off in a draw. Try to sneak in from a advantage point.
Some of the early ones start shedding then?
Yeah, he didn't really say so. No, I think
out
they
west
shedding
they
later.
don't.
They hold them longer?
Yeah. He said they had shot deer before, though, where they'd gone up and grabbed them to load them in the truck, and the horns came off.
Yep.
Yeah. Antlers. I got corrected on.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, because none of it, we don't know the difference between
they're
horns and antlers.
horns.
Yeah.
They're antlers, not horns.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they got
Well, I've been calling them horns my whole life, so we'll stay with that.
Yeah.
they got sheep and
Yeah.
goats out there that have horns.
Horns. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, good conversation, guys.
Yeah.
Lee's hungry.
Rick makes it easy.
Yeah.
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 I think he's a better host than me.
No, I don't, because we're going to get more into politics, and that's where you shine.
Oh,
We're going to talk about
my infinite
snowmobiling.
wisdom.
As soon as we come back from Wyoming, we're going to talk about snowmobiling.
Oh, we're going to do a whole podcast on it.
Right.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Then Hal can play Lee's part.
I'll just stay home.
I'm going to video his 100-foot drop.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Yeah.
I don't know. You only live once, Rick.
Yeah.
Really.
That might be the end of it, though.
I've had a good run, I can tell you.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
It'd
There
be
ain't many regrets.
like your brother Dane who get every pin in every leg joint,
Yeah.
arm.
Yeah, he's like a $6 million man.
Right.
Yeah. I rode with him.
Paying for it now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He totaled the summit over here in 48 hours. I had an
It took him that long?
Yeah. Him and Bruce, I was running an M8 at the time, and he said, we'd like to find some good climbing. I said, I can show you some good climbing. And boy, those guys wouldn't give up. If my M8 was parked at the top of the hill where you couldn't fit a snowmobile through anymore, they'd hit me at a 90-degree angle right up over my skis into the first 2-foot tree they found. Boom! I got it, Liv. I get you.
Yeah. Get that extra foot.
Yeah.
Oh,
We've
jeez.
got sticks shoved in handlebars and black tape holding it together, and
Yeah.
away they'd go again.
First time I ever rode with Dana, we hit the ITS trail going to where we were going, and I went just a couple miles, like running, trying to keep up, and I finally was like, yeah, I'm not killing myself today.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
just
That's
he's
all he
frickin'
does, though.
wide open
Yeah.
with hair
He-
on fire.
He
and
rides
was
like
going.
we deer hunt, so
Oh
it's
my
all
God, he
second
can
nature.
ride.
Yeah. Yeah.
No fear, and
Yeah.
he's got the skills to go with it.
Yeah. I can remember when he was like 28 years old, and he bought a new sled, and somebody come in. I don't know. He'd had it like a month and a half, and my father was running the shop in Jackman, Dana's Rentals there. And they looked out and they said, "What happened to that sled? Did that fall out of the space shuttle?"
Oh man, yeah. So, all right, you guys ready to eat lunch?
Yeah.
Ready.
Now
Sarges, here we come.
Yeah. All right. Like us on Facebook. You still do the Instagram stuff?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Instagram,
Bo's right on
Bo's
that.
on that.
yeah. All
I don't
those-
have that,
all those
so I don't
platforms.
see it. Yeah. Yeah.
One of these days,
Yeah.
we
Look out for
won't
it.
have to deal with the social media anymore. It's going to be a thing of the past. We're going to go full cycle, full circle.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't
Right.
see it. I don't see it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Go on our YouTube channel. What are you supposed to do on there? Subscribe.
Subscribe. There you
Yeah.
go. You're getting it, Hal.
You'll get a notification when the new stuff's coming out, like the new moose hunt. And
Yeah, and you mentioned John Fennelson there a minute ago. John, I saw all the deer you killed this year. You got plenty of meat to make some more jerky, so
Yeah.
we're waiting.
He sent me some.
It's good, huh?
Oh, yeah, really good.
Yeah.
Excellent.
We had
yeah.
some. Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
not too long ago.
yeah.
Yeah, he made a peep site. for me for my Pro Hunter that goes on, and then my scope goes right on top of it.
Nice.
Nice.
Yeah.
Is he anywhere near where we're going to be out there?
No, he's like 11-hour drive.
Oh, yeah.
It's quite a drive.
Oh,
Yeah. He's in the northeast corner of Wyoming.
oh wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. John's also donated a 22, a Marlin 22 for the kids contest, which I got to
Nice.
get going. I told him he can judge it too from the kids from last fall. there
that's
that
cool.
Shot the deer, so
Yeah.
I've been slipping on that. That's my bad. I got to get those organized and
That was something too that happened. Well, probably should have mentioned in the last one, but you were there teaching the kids map and compass last week. That was
Yeah, that was pretty
yeah,
cool.
yeah.
I
Yeah.
love seeing that. That's
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, that was fun.
They were right into it. You could see in the picture
Yeah.
just all ears listening.
Yeah, I got 6 students. I got 3 girls and 3 boys.
Yeah.
And it's the ones that
Excellent.
Roxanne kind of put it together. It was ones that were homeschooling anyways. It was something to add into their curriculum, which kind of cool because it gives them some math too. They got to figure out some math doing
Yeah.
it. And
Right.
but I'm going to tell you, them kids, I was a little bit wondering, but they actually picked it up better than a lot of the adults did. You know what I mean? As far as remembering the stuff right
Yeah.
off. And
Yeah.
we did that. We did that one class last week, and then tomorrow I got to do. We did mostly with a compass, and we did a little map. But I'm going to finish up tomorrow with the map and putting it all together better, and then I'm going to take them outside, and we're going to do some teach them how to do their pacing, for their distance. So Gunther's changed pacing, and then we'll do another class. I told them when the snow goes out, we'll have another class, and I'm going to set up a compass course in the woods, and they can do it, go run their compass course.
Yeah, that'll be nice. Right.
Yeah, it's good for the
Get
kids to
some
learn that
hands-on.
stuff because most of the kids nowadays, they rely too much on technology, electronics, and I know it's a thing. It's a thing, but they still got to have those skills,
Yeah. I still carry a compass no matter where I go.
Oh,
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Always. Yeah.
yeah.
Absolutely.
Hardly ever use it, but
I carry 2, still carry 2. I have one that I can use with a map. It's really kind of like now my spare because I still take a paper map sometimes, depends where I go. Well, probably won't now. I was carrying one in Montana and stuff all the time when we started there, but kind of, I guess now with the Onyx, you don't really need it as much. But so I carry that spare, and then I got my little directional one in my pocket just to
yeah.
quick check on direction and stuff. So, hey, thanks for tuning in. Till next time, good luck on the trail.